Hi. So I'm going to explain how this income expense tracker works. So the first thing that you should do is input everything in the categories sheet. So what are your income sources? What do you spend on? What are your bank accounts and credit cards? Okay. So for example, uh, one of your income sources is your salary, and then you have this income number two. So for example, this is chocolate business, oops, book business, freelancing, or for example, what I do, copy, freelance, copywriting, and then coaching. Okay. So for example, that's it for me. That's an example. Okay. But you can just delete them. But for example, here, if you go to the other sheets, you will be able to see income number 6 until income number 10. But if you just delete them, you won't see them. So for example, under income, let me just delete this one for this demonstration. But for income, or sorry, not income, category, you will see the coaching, but you will also see number 6, 7, and until 10. So if you don't have that much income sources, you can just delete them. And if you go to the category, you won't see the other options. But if you add more, for example, here, um, funeral business, it will show automatically here. Okay, so that's how it works. You can just add anything anywhere. But of course, to be organized, add them um, in an organized manner. But yeah, that's the same with the expenses, balance, and credit cards. So let's go to the bank status sheet. So here in bank status, you just have to input the initial and let the tool do its job. Okay. So for example, I deleted this. That means I have expenses here, but I'm going to delete this one first because I am kind of re-recording this because I've made mistakes in the previous recordings. But yeah, you don't really have to know that. But okay. For example, bank number 1, 2, 3, I added my on hand and Gcash. So I just have to add them here. So for example, I edited this BDO Security Bank, what else? AUB, on hand Gcash, ING, CIMB, and then I just deleted the 6, 7, and 8. So you will see there's blank spaces here or blank cells, but you will also see that these automatically were updated. Okay, but I won't give this tool to you as is. I'm going to name them bank number 1 until 10, and you just have to add them. Okay, so I can just hide this, or if I want to add more banks, for example, or more credit cards, I will just have to right click here, and then insert one below. Then I can also insert one below. But the thing is, the formulas here are not updated, so you just have to drag. Once you see this crosshair, you just have to drag them down. Okay, but let's delete this extra rows. So let's stick with that one, and then let's just hide this for now. Okay. So credit card number 1, for example, Citibank, East West, just EW, BDO, what else? PNB, uh, RCBC. Okay. And then just delete this, hide again if you don't need all the rows, hide. Okay. So that looks cleaner, a lot cleaner actually. So for the banks, input initial values here. For example, you have 100,000 in your BDO account, Security Bank 500,000, AUB, let's say this is for your online shopping, so 25,000 only. On hand, 10,000, GCash 15,000, ING, you're still starting, so 0, 0. You don't have to input 0, but yeah. Citibank, if you don't have balances, balances as you're doing this right now, you don't have to input anything. But for example, you have 5,000 pesos peso balance. You don't do this. You input negative. You put negative sign, then for example 7,000 pesos, so that this formula will be, or this total would deduct your credit card balances, because at the end of the month, once you've paid this will be the final value of your assets. Okay, so we don't want addition here, but there are rare cases, especially in traders who are using international brokers, who use their credit cards to receive their profits from trading. So it can have a positive balance, which is again a rare case. So let's stick with doing negative balances. Okay. Now that's the initial, but let's remove them for now. So let's go to income. Basically, that's it for the bank status. But we're going to go back to this sheet and see what will happen with your current balances. So just remember this 100,000. I I inputted 500 here. So 100,000, 500, 25, 10, 15. Okay. So these are all whole numbers. But let's go to the income. For example, on January 15th, you've received your salary. So before I input the other fields, maybe you have seen that after I inputted January 15th, the month here was automatically generated. And you're correct, because this column has formulas. So don't go changing this, but if you accidentally hit the delete button, there will be a heads up and it will warn you not to edit this particular cell. Okay? Now, description salary, I don't really have to add anything, but for example, mm, Gucci, Gucci employer. That's, for example, yeah, that's your company name. The amount 50,000 pesos. Remarks without overtime, paid to. So which one is your payroll account? So for example, your payroll account is Security Bank. So you will see that under Security Bank here, 500,000 initially, a 50,000 credit was added, or a 50,000 balance was added under Security Bank. Why? Because we inputted 50,000 pesos in this sheet, in the income sheet. Now, be careful when inputting date, because if you input it wrong and it did not detect that it's from January or February, or it did not detect anything, the bank status will not be updated. So just to let you understand how this works, um, the system or this tool detects if it's under January or Security Bank under income. So it will detect if it's under February or on hand under income, and under expenses, and under bank transfers sheet. We will go to expenses and bank transfers, but let me show you another example. For example, that's the 15th. I sold chocolates worth 3,333 pesos to uh, a certain client. Then description, bundle, promo. I'm just inputting anything. I sold it last January 20, paid to GCash, for example, and then the bank status of GCash will be updated from 15,000 initial balance. I earned an additional 3,333 pesos. So, yeah, it was automatically updated here. Let's go to expenses. I spent media noche. Actually, that's not supposed to be 1-1, but medianoche extension category eat out or grocery, whatever. Amount would be 3,000 pesos. Remarks, Doris Restaurant. Paid by, for example, I used on hand. You will see that my on hand have become 7,000. 7,000. So that's 3,000 pesos. 10,000 minus 3,000 pesos here in the expenses, I got 7,000 of current balance under January and on hand. Okay, so I will know if I have enough on hand or I will have to withdraw. So let's go to the withdrawal later. But let's see first, or let's uh do another example. For example, grocery, 3,333 pesos. SM, for example, SM Supermarket, Marikina. And then I don't have to input any remarks. 1/7, meaning January 7. And then what did I use to pay for it? For example, um, my RCBC credit card. So RCBC credit card, there will be minus 3,333 here. And then you will be able to know or monitor if you have a how much your balance is for that particular credit card. Okay? So you won't have to log in every single time that you need to see your current balance. You just have to update or religiously update this every time that you use that said card, or every time you do a transaction, or every time you receive money. Okay? So I was or I mentioned earlier about the withdrawals. So for example, your on hand balance is not enough. So you want it to be at least 15,000 pesos. So you have a currently you have 7,000. So you've thought of, you saw using this tool that you only have 7,000 on hand, and then using this tool, I mean after seeing it from this tool, you decided to transfer from Security Bank to your on hand a deficit of 8,000 pesos. The deficit, because your target is 15,000 on hand, right? So 1 January 30, I transferred from Security Bank to on hand 8,000 pesos. Remarks, I just want to. I just want to. But you will see here that the Security Bank balance was reduced while your on hand was increased. So basically, your cash flow is balancing itself using this tool. I mean, it monitors your actual cash flow as long as you use this tool. So it's very important that you update this from every single time you have a transaction so that you won't have to um, do an audit every single month because you forgot to update that uh, you forgot to update a single transaction, one transaction or two. Now, you've seen here also that you have this balance in RCBC credit card and you want to pay for it. Okay, so it's not under income, it's not under expense because it will become double, but rather it's a bank transfer. Okay, so for example, from Security Bank again, I transferred or I paid my balance in RCBC 3,333 pesos, paid my card. Last 131. Okay? You will see in the bank status that I won't have a balance in RCBC right now. And then um my balance in Security Bank was reduced again. So if you've noticed, the total will not really change that much because of bank transfers. I mean, it won't really change because of bank transfers because you're just transferring money from one account to another. Okay? Now, that's it for the income and expenses and bank transfers. I hope you got this concept. You're just transferring from and to. Now, um, if you want to transfer something from your bank account to another bank account for some reason, I would recommend doing it under expenses because basically that's an expense. Okay? I would recommend it under expenses. The formula will deduct your balance here if you, for example, choose transfer from Security Bank to nothing. It will deduct, but it doesn't really make sense for me. So I would input here under expenses. But if you opt to do it here because technically it's under bank transfer and you just leave the two blank, it's totally okay. So let me give you an example. So another, let's see, Gcash is, or the BDO current balance is 100,000. I transferred from BDO 500, 100,000. You will see that the bank status will become 0. So that's it. You don't really have to input anything here, but yeah. Anyways, anyways, let's go to the monthly and year-to-date report, monthly and YTD report. So here we have, okay, sorry. Let me just explain quickly these cells. Once you've finished January, just drag this to February, and then the values will be initially the same because the January will technically become your initial for February. Okay? So that's the reason why I did not put all of them at the same time because it will all be the same with January. Because this one adds from January and then adds from the income, uh, deducting from the expenses and bank transfers. So yeah, as this update, these cells will also get updated at the same time. So I opted to just delete them first, so it's cleaner, and you will have a visual representation here. So yep. So for example, bank status, um, BDO, it went from 100,000 to zero real quick. And then Security Bank from 500,000, I think, to something. I think this is 550 something thousand. Then the other bank, since they have no balances, it's almost zero. So I did not input the credit card here because, of course, your credit card would not have uh, wouldn't have uh, growing shouldn't have growing balance, or you know. Anyways, yeah, if it's growing, I think you should have a financial check. So, but yeah, if you want to add that, feel free to do so, but I don't think it's necessary for myself and for you too. Anyways, let's go to the monthly YTD report, and I will discuss the visual representations later. So in this monthly and YTD report, we have January, February until December. Um, so you will be able to see automatically your total income, total expenses, and total savings. So the savings is just income minus expenses. But if you have investments, I would recommend that you consider them expenses and not savings, because technically it's going out of your pocket. And if it generates income, of course, put income there. Okay. Now, for the monthly income, well, as you can see here, there are blank spaces because we have reduced the income, in the categories column. So we deleted these cells or these values. So you can just, again, hide them here, and then it will look cleaner. But for now, I won't hide it because I might forget it later. So there are no values here and here, but basically you just have to um, copy or drag them down. Same with the other uh, same with the other months. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure why there are no values here, but anyways, I might have forgotten to drag them down. Anyways, yeah, so you will see the trend if you're saving enough or if you're saving uh too low, or if you're hitting your savings target month after month. Actually, I forgot to anyways, yeah, not really forgot, but so pardon me for rambling again. For example, these yellow columns are not really necessary. For example, you don't have an income target, so you don't really have to input something here, but it would be nice if you have a target. So if you don't have a target, you don't need these columns, so you can just hide them. Okay. Now, now, um, for the actual, this is a formula. For the weight, this is also a formula, but you will be able to see which chunk or which income source brings in the most money. So for example, here, salary, it brought 93.75% of my income. And then the chocolate business, it gave me 6.25% of my total income. So you can use this to um, audit your cash flow or your income sources. So if it's taking too much time for you to accomplish or to fulfill or to do, and it's not bringing that much weight on your total income sources, you can just stop it. Okay, you can just stop it. That's an extra, but yeah, that's not really the point of this tool, but you can use that tool for those kinds of purposes. Now, if you have a target, for example, the salary doesn't have a target most of the time, but let's just input 50,000, chocolate business, 5,000 pesos. Um, the percent difference, the percent difference, you will see here that it is negative 33.34%, meaning I'm uh, at a deficit. I didn't really hit my target. So there's a deficit of 33%. So I have to check again or adjust my marketing efforts for my chocolate business because of this one. So you will be able to see uh, here if you're meeting your targets or not. Okay, it's that easy. Now, now, of course, for the total, you will have a total target, and if you're achieving that target, and the percent difference of that, and the actual difference, of course. Now, that's the same for February, March, and etc. And here, after you've inputted the target, at the end of here, you will see that the income versus target will be shown. Will be shown. So for my salary, it has a target of 140. What? Um, I saw it. Sorry, I had to pause the video for a while because my monthly or my target here is 140,000, but it's really not. So I just, as you have seen earlier, I just inputted 50,000 as my target. However, when I was doing this tool, I had this December target, 90,000, 90,000. This is just an example to see if the tool works. So that's where the 140,000 pesos came from, because what this chart is really showing is the year-to-date data. Year-to-date data. So this is um, basically the summary of all the months as of year to date. Now, the actual is 50,000, the target is 50,000, there's no percent difference, and then you will see in the income graph or chart, actual versus target, actual being the column, I've hit my target for my year to date target. Okay? But for my chocolate business, I'm quite short, so I will be able to see it easily. Okay? Um, and then of course here again in the visual sheet, I will be able to see if which one brings in the most money. Of course, I also mentioned here that um, I will be able to see it based on the weight. But if you're a person who is visually inclined or understands visuals more easily than numbers, this is for you. So chocolate business is just 6.2% of my total pie, then salaries around 93.8%. So income, sorry, this is expenses. Expenses year to date, huh? Expenses year to date, eat out is 47.4%. So if that's the case, I have to do it less, or I have to monitor my spending on that area. Now for groceries, 52.6%, but of course there will be more categories, but it will be added automatically here as you add more data in the expenses and income sheets. Okay. Now, let's go back to the monthly year to date. Huh. So monthly expenses, sorry for the wrong spelling. Monthly expenses, grocery, eat out, car maintenance, etc. That's actually the same with the monthly income. We have weight, we have difference and percent difference. But what their difference basically is the budget. The budget is not your target. Okay. So as much as possible, you don't exceed the budget, right? So for example, the groceries, I have 5,000 peso budget per month. My eat out, 5,000 peso budget per month. So I will see the percent difference. Sorry. I will see the percent difference, and then I will be able to see here in the visual under expenses, actual versus target, budget, sorry, if I am exceeding my expenses with my targets. So for example, grocery, I'm under the budget, so it's good. Eat out, I'm under the budget, so it's also good. Now that's it for the difference and the weight. But as I've mentioned earlier, we also have, or this is basically the same with um, monthly income. So we also have year to date here, year to date. Okay. So how much did I already spend as of now? That's the function of this column. And of course, the visuals. Now for okay, that basically that's it for the monthly year-to-date report. You don't really have to look at this. You just have to put the target and budget. If you're doing that, if you're the kind of person who's doing that, which I actually recommend, but for some people, they don't have targets, they don't have budgets, they they just do whatever they want. If that's you, just hide these columns. And then let's go to the visual. So I've already explained the bank status, if it's growing or the balance is declining. I've already shared with you the income pie and expenses pie. Then, of course, the income and actual budget. Now, this monthly summary is also based on this. So basically, you will be able to see if your income is growing month after month, if savings is growing month after month, or if expenses is growing month after month. So with that, you will be able to monitor um, how your income and expenses and savings are, what's happening with them. So basically, that's it. Sorry, I had a lot of things that I didn't really have to discuss, but basically that's it. I'm not sure how long the video is, but yeah, thank you for purchasing this amazing tool. Or if you haven't purchased it, just click the pay now button below and you will have access to this. That's it, and thank you.